With the mining boom slowing in Australia, the tourism sector and government have stumbled upon a pre-existing money-making, job-promoting machine, which is already a hot commodity in the birthplace of Kylie Minogue. The world's sixth largest country can't seem to get casinos out of its head as Queensland and New South Wales make plans to back 4 new casinos, adding to their existing dozen in a plea to attract Asian high rollers, despite fears over potential environmental and social impacts. I'm joined on the line by IBISWorld Senior Industry Analyst Ryan Kerin to tell us more. Ryan, welcome. Firstly, tomorrow is a big day for data releases in Australia, where we see both the unemployment rate and employment change data. Over the last couple of months, Australian unemployment has remained relatively static. What do you forecast for the results of tomorrow's data release? And do you see Australian jobs shifting further towards the tourism sector in the near future in light of the new plans, despite potentially negative ethical implications?
Yes, in Australia we're expecting unemployment rate to stay steady. The main determinant of the headline rate over the past few months has been participation in the labour force. At the moment we expect it to remain steady, but it has been bouncing up and down a bit and has had an effect despite some sometimes positive, sometimes negative changes in both full-time and part-time employment. We do expect enough employment increase to keep the headline unemployment rate steady despite population growth. We do see some movement towards the likes of the tourism sector. Manufacturing is currently struggling in Australia. The Australian dollar is starting to rebound a bit, coming off some recent lows and moving back towards parity with the US, which is causing some damage. But tourism appears to be going strongly. We've got quite a high demand from Asian regions where economic growth is extremely high, especially compared to throughout the West. So we do see the likes of tourism and other areas like agriculture are also benefiting from that.
Moving on to the employment change data, also due tomorrow, how do you forecast employment change looking for the previous month? And do you see over 1,200 new jobs as an accurate account of the potential new jobs the news resorts could provide Australia?
Coming up for the data, over the past 2 months we've had some very good results in terms of full-time employment, but part-time employment hasn't done so well. So I'll be looking for the full-time employment results for the past 2 months to be kind of cemented, I guess you could say. So we expect a small increase and hopefully not a decrease in full-time, while hopefully part-time will rebound. So we're expecting maybe 10 to 15,000 new part-time jobs, while full-time to remain relatively static, and that would be enough to keep the unemployment rate unchanged. Regarding the job announcements for the new resorts being built, at the moment the new development in Barangaroo and Sydney is not set to open until 2019, so it is quite some way out. But 1,200 is a reasonable number given the size of the development and what Crown is going to be doing there.
And finally, the vast plans to pour money into gambling are controversial for Australia's government. Though in the eyes of the lawmakers, the idea is an appealing one, as they're able to reap the benefits through tax and appeal to tourist demand. There are also concerns that the vast resorts could hurt local businesses. With those in power seeing stars and dollar signs, how do you see local businesses' concerns affecting the plans?
The development of new resorts within Australia and other facilities for tourists is expected to increase the total amount of tourists coming here. There is such a large supply, especially from Asia, where the middle class is growing very fast. So we don't expect the new resorts to take away from existing local businesses. We instead expect it to add to local businesses and the new resorts as well, so it'll be quite profitable. Of course, politicians are also interested in the tax money that they will get from these new places and the new tourists coming here, and there is of course concern that there will also be additional costs, especially with casinos. They tend to have higher social costs, So one example being used is a new development where the casino is going to be aimed exclusively at the tourists and not the locals, but also environmental damage. Environmental tourism is very big in Australia with the Great Barrier Reef and the tropical rainforests up in Queensland. And as numbers increase, there will be some pressure to protect those natural assets that we have, because we derive such a large amount of income from them. So there is a trade-off, but we do expect the government to push ahead with increasing the number of tourists because it's such a big earner for Australians.
Thank you, Ryan, for all your insights. That's all we've time for. Remember to continue to click back on the Dukascopy site for changes in your trading day. Goodbye.